Am I live? I'm sorry, I'm testing new software, everybody. So, as my live viewers will probably know, hi, I guess it's working right now. I've had a hell of a lot of trouble with my live stream. And yeah, I'm not supposed to be going live right now, but for those of you who are up at this crazy hour, hi, Gary. Hi, Island. So, just because I'm testing today, Matteo, are you kidding me? Italia, wow. Good evening. Yes, I am live. Kyla, how did you know I was going to be here? Crazy. Anyway, good morning. So, again, I'm just testing new software here. So, because again, I usually get really. Anyways, it's all new software. I'm a pretty smart computer guy, and for those of you who come on, you know that I get a lot of lag. So, since you're all here, how's it going, guys? Fantastic. Everything's working. I'd be very happy to answer questions if you guys have some. Because I talk about Sasquatch and wilderness and stuff. So since there's not a question immediately, I'll answer something. Hey, South Carolina, are you kidding me? Like Italy, all these people, Sweden? Wow, it's amazing. So it's wintertime right now, and I'm doing post production of my film. South Africa, are you kidding me? And Pete, you know there's no freezing. Thank you. Anyway, let's talk about Bigfoot. Uh, why I don't do winter research anymore. I'll tell you guys a little story. Ohio, oh my God, never miss my videos, Michael. So, in the wintertime, in case you don't know this, just as an example, I'm Canadian. We love the snow. I do a lot of snow. I do snowmobiling and snowboarding and snowshoeing and cross country. I love all that stuff. I love winter. I love the snow. I just love. I'm a Northman, 100%. So what people probably don't know is there's certain areas, certain corridors where the elk and the deer are at or they live, and there are these corridors that Fish and Wildlife try to protect because they don't want snowmobiles going through there for good reason. Because what people don't realize is, as to say for an example, if you're in a snowmobile and you chase a herd of elk around, then it's fun. They'll run. It's actually not fun, and it's horribly abusive because what these animals are having a hell of a time surviving. I don't know if you've ever driven around in the wintertime where there's elk herds or deer herds or you see these ungulates. They're starving. They look horrible. Like sometimes they have winters. They look like a bunch of like zombies walking around because they're so starving and horribly having a hard time. And that's at the end of the year, and that's when they're super. Only the strong ones are surviving. Literally, like it's survival of the fitness in the wilderness. And I'll talk about Joe Rogan's podcast in a second. But anyway, imagine you were chasing them with a snowmobile, and they burn 2,000 calories, terrify the hell out of them. They're running around for absolutely no reason because you're chasing them just because you're a jerk, and they'll die. Literally, the young that are barely going to make it through the winter will starve to death and fall down and die. Even the elderly or even a bull who was running his ass off breeding with females, you could kill him just by running the hell out of him, making his heart rate go up and burning calories that he just can't get back on, or he'll burn off fat that was so hard to build up because they just eat freaking grass. Hard to get fat from grass. If you ever saw how hard they have to dig through the snow. So anyways, Sasquatch are the same thing. I don't care how tough the Sasquatch are. I don't care how amazing. I mean, they're a fantastic, incredible species. You don't go chasing them in the wintertime. I'm I'm very certain in my research. I'm strongly convinced that they go into caves. They just go find cave systems or go live in a cave somewhere, and yeah, just go stay in a cave, cuddle up. However, if I'm out there, what I would think as an intelligent primate species that always wants to evade is the possibility of me, if I come along and I find where their cave is or know where their caves are and go to where their caves are, they're probably going to see me. They're probably going to move away and go to a secondary cave source or move off somewhere else or maybe go hide in the forest. The elderly might die, young might. That would be my worst fear, is their offspring would possibly be killed because you go out in minus 40, get kicked out of the cave, and you die. So anyway, that's why and plus I was almost died. Sorry, this thing's on my belly. I laugh and the camera shakes. But I almost died a couple times in the wintertime. Winter's brutal. You get stuck in the wrong spot, and oh my God. So I'm testing a new computer, doing good on both ends. Oh, so no lag at all, guys. So I see Nick by Nature talked about Joe Rogan. You know what I don't like? I don't mind. I know Joe Rogan's a hater of mine, and he thinks the Patterson footage is fake. Though the Patterson footage is real. If you're thoroughly convinced that the Patterson footage is fake, Man, you got to look at the evidence. I'm sorry, but it's real. Like my God, the tracks have a mid-tarsal joint on them. You know, I've seen the tracks in the Patterson footage. So I don't know if anybody you've ever heard me say this. New Zealand? Are you kidding me? Sweden, New Zealand, all over the United States, Italy. That's amazing, guys. That's so fantastic. It's freaking so early in the morning. Australia. Where are we gonna get Antarctica next? So anyway, what was I saying? Anyways, the fact that he took on Les Stroud, though, Joe Rogan, don't take on Survivor, man. I mean, the guy, if you ever, one of my favorite TV series of all time is Beyond Survival. This is actually an interesting story. So I was all about doing this on my own, busting my ass. I didn't think I could. I didn't think I needed help, or maybe I wasn't cooperative. I was tired of the haters and all the crap. So in 2010, and I think even 2011, I was just completely on my own, busting my butt, working, risking my life, killing myself, getting all this horrible crap going on. It was absolute hell. And I came back in 2011, maybe 2012, and I thought, man, I can't do this on my own anymore. I don't care how tough you think you are. I need help, and I'm missing out on a lot. Cooperation's powerful, really, really powerful. I understand family is cooperation, right? That's why family makes you so strong, and friends are powerful. So anyhow, I started talking to people. I started checking my emails more, and somebody said, hey, you should go work with that Survivor Man guy. So I went into my email address and I punched in Survivor Man, and it came up. Boom! There was this producer trying to talk to me. They'd been trying to get a hold of me for probably a couple years. And then I got a hold of him, and he wanted to do this Bigfoot thing, and we started. We cooperated for quite a while before we got the show going. It was at least a couple years before they allowed us to do the show. Anyway, though, what's really cool is he was looking for me hardcore, maybe let's say 2010 approximately. And since he couldn't get a hold of me, and he couldn't find anybody that was amazing to do Bigfoot with, or something that could really pop and sell something, he went off and did Beyond Survival, which is my favorite television series of all time. My God, guys, go to survivorman.com or whatever Les Stroud's website is and download the series. I have the collection. It is absolutely, they dig up bodies, and he does the tattoo thing, and he's the masters of survival. It's totally amazing. It's what really convinced me to work with him. I realized how absolutely legit he was. But thinking that, anyways, the point of this story is I'm glad that he couldn't get a hold of me. I'm glad I didn't check my email, because Beyond Survival is an incredible, amazing series. And Les Stroud is just, he's so fantastic. He's been such a wonderful mentor to me. And it upsets me that the Survivor Man, I wish he would have put Todd Standing, blah, 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 beaked at me, because that's not cool. You don't go bashing Survivor Man. Survivor Man did some 411 Sasquatch stuff that was pretty cool. A little investigation there that was very, very amazing. And I just think the world of the guy. I love the way he thinks. He's old school, and he's got these incredible perspectives. And just like John Benernagel, he's this wonderful he's this wonderful old generation that's just classic. And John Benernagel is gone, and there's nobody that's ever going to replace that incredible man. And Survivor Man's the same thing. He's just one of a kind. There's not going to be another one that follows in his footsteps. He's absolutely amazing. So anyways, there's Joe Rogan is in his own bubble. Todd's video of the running up the hill, the Patterson film creature. You can see it in the hips. You know what's interesting to me, guys, is wasn't Jeff Meldrum? I'm sure Jeff Meldrum did the show with Joe Rogan, and he didn't convince him of nothing. Like, Jeff Meldrum's a PhD. So yeah. And anyways, here's a funny statement. I always said, I love less. It's like, I love less. It's like you don't love more, you love less. But I just think the world of Les. He's taught me so much, and yeah, that's what I have to say about Les Stroud. So, and for God's sake, the video I'm going to do for Joe Rogan is, well, gee, look at my list. John Benernagel says, I'm definitively convinced, or I'm firmly convinced, he has in fact filmed portraits of the Sasquatch face. And if you've seen the episodes of Survivor Man, like, Sasquatch took apples and left tracks. Sasquatch came around at night, left tracks, big crashing, booming sounds in the middle of the wilderness. The Sasquatch called back to him. There's a point where Les was really convinced of what was going on. I mean, he was quite. When I met Les, the first thing he told me is, "Hey, either the reason they wanted to go with me, and this is amazing. You guys want to know this. Les said to me, either I'm going to prove you're a hoaxer, because you can't fool me. I'm Survivor Man. Either I'm going to prove you're a hoaxer, and I'm going to be famous for proving that you're a fraud, or I'm going to prove that you're really searching for Bigfoot, and I'm going to be famous for that. So either way, I win. You have to understand, that's how Les came into this. He didn't come into this going, nobody does. John Bitternagel didn't. John Bitternagel was so freaking skeptical of me. Oh my God. When John Bitternagel, you want to hear something funny? So I don't normally use tripods. And what happened was, so I went out with Meldrum. Meldrum saw a Sasquatch. John Bitternagel was there that day. And then Meldrum went home, and then John Bitternagel stayed with me for like 7 more days out in the bush. It's incredible stuff happened. Amazing. But John is like quiet. He won't say anything. He's always like, interesting, interesting. So at the end of it, I thought John was going to leave and never talk to me again, because it didn't feel like we were getting along. It felt like he was just unhappy with everything I'd shown him. Every track, every tree break, everything. He was just so skeptical. He's like, no. A Sasquatch came around, and that changed him a little bit. But anyways, so last day I'm going to interview him. I think he's going to say, man, I don't like this Todd Standing guy. I'm never going to come back here. I can't wait to get home. So thankfully, I put the camera on a tripod and started filming his interview with me. Thank God I put it on a tripod, because I'll tell you, when John Bitternagel looked at me and I said, so let's talk about, I said some question. Let's talk about the videos or something. He goes, oh, yes, thank you. I'm going to talk in that gentle voice like John. Oh, thank you, yes. After spending almost a week in the wilderness alone with Todd, I am in fact firmly convinced he has filmed portraits of the Sasquatch face. Thank God the camera was on a tripod. I would have dropped it. That was my response. I was like, maybe you shouldn't say that, John, even though it's true, because people are going to get so mad, and you're such an icon. And I really wanted him to take it back, because I thought, the hell that's going to follow with him saying that. And I know my videos are real. It's all real. It's just that this wonderful good man was taking on so much by supporting me like that. And can you understand how I was like, oh God, John, you're going to supporting all my stuff, like the hate and the anger that I get. People are going to be so mad. But then I thought, well, damn, it's the truth. And so I stopped recording and I talked to him for a second. And then he just told me, he said, you know what, dude, like, are you real? And I went, yeah, I'm real. He goes, well, I'm honest. Are you being honest? I went, yeah, I'm honest. He goes, I believe you. And I said, let's just keep going. I was like, okay. And we kept going. So anyways, just the power that this guy, I don't know who this guy is and where this guy comes from, but do you know how awesomely amazing it's been? I worked with Jeff Meldrum. I showed him a Sasquatch. I worked with John Bitternagel. I worked with Survivor Man. The list of PhDs and great men, U.S. Rangers, just actually everyday people too that are just. There was a construction worker, a guy who was poor and broke and built his own construction company, and he's brilliant and just a humble, nice, brilliant, wonderful family man. These guys, I love these guys. A computer programmer from Alabama, that just. Amazing, wonderful, wonderful gentlemen that I've met. I don't know how I've been so blessed and so lucky, so fortunate to, can you imagine how much I've worked with Survivor Man? Like I did 4 episodes with the guy, all the stuff, all the people that I've met. I just feel so blessed. So when you worry about someone like Joe Rogan, I can't. If I died tomorrow, wow, what a life I've lived doing Sasquatch research and being honest and showing real stuff. So I'm looking over at the comments and stuff here. Anyways, so I'm not mad. I'll talk about it, and I'll inform Joe Rogan of the shoulders that I stand on. The great men and women that I got to work with and be mentored by. I might be out there and I'm showing John stuff and Jeff and Les stuff. You think they're not teaching me stuff? Holy crap. Just endlessly. Honestly, I mean, I'm teaching them what I know about Sasquatch, and a lot of the stuff I know, we're just kind of like Jeff would call the bunchberries snowberries. Les called what I call bearberries, huckleberries. Like it's, I just called it moss. Les called it sphagnum moss, the substrate we were walking on. So it was that started like a kindredship in me as an indigenous person and them teaching me, and we're building that bridge. But there's so many. They're such brilliant men. I mean, my goodness, I learned so much from them. So. John Benedict is a wildlife biologist, PhD. He's been in a lot of places around the world. So yeah, this stream has just been perfect, huh, guys? Like, this has been totally perfect, and everybody can hear me well. So, thoughts of Sean of the '80s? I know you from Instagram. I like your channel, man. I like the '80s. They were pretty cool. Anyways, the Patterson footage is legit. I mentioned that just a little while ago. It's totally legit and real. I was very convinced the Patterson footage was real. I was very convinced of it. Then Jeff Meldrum showed me the tracks, and I'm a tracker, and those were mid-tarsal joint tracks. I put those tracks in. If you ever see those tracks, there are little numbers on them, because Jeff was like, well, they pulled the tracks out and they didn't know which was the first and the last. I numbered them, and I don't know if I've convinced him significantly enough for him to have chosen the order that I picked, and I explained it to him. But anyways, those tracks, that's the end of the story. Those tracks had a mid-tarsal joint on them, and they didn't know about a mid-tarsal joint till the 80s in chimpanzees. How did two ranchers from California know about mid-tarsal joints? It's not possible, guys. And then the flexing of the leg, the blown quadriceps, and then all and above that, I saw a female Sasquatch that looked, honestly, when it happened, what happened was this female was interacting with us. It was actually at structure number 1, the structure that apples got taken off of in my movie with Jeff Meldrum. And the apples have been taken off lock, but that specific amazing, incredible structure, one of my favorite structures of all time. Anyways, we were taking an apple, and then I was following her tracks back up the hill, and I could see exactly where I was like, wow, we're gonna follow these tracks. And when I saw the trackway where she was going, I was like, man, it's sphagnum moss all up. I know that whole area. Like, we're gonna follow her for miles. I was with an expeditioner, right? A really cool expeditioner. Guy's name's Rich. Just another amazing man who's turned out to be my friend. But anyways, she sees this. A female Sasquatch sees this, and she's like pissed that I'm following her tracks. And you know what I think? In hindsight, I think she knows I'm a tracker. She knows I can track really well. She knows that I'm going to follow that trackway. And I was excited. And I was like, I'm following these tracks. Woohoo! Like, I got some tracks. And anyway, so she's up on this ridge over top of us, maybe, let's say, 150 yards away. And what she does is literally, she does the Patterson walk like this. She made a sound like, because she's mad because I was following her tracks. And she walked like this. And let me see if I can do it on camera. And then she pulled away. So let's say she was like one layer of trees walking like this. And then she pulled away, 3 layers of trees, walked. And then further back, 5 layers of trees, and walked. And then went like out of my sight. And she was walking back and forth, just like the pattern. It looked like they pulled the Patterson footage right out of the screen and popped it in front of my eyes. And I was watching that female. The breasts were the same, the walk was the same, the gait was the same, the head was the same, her color was the same, the track size was the same. It was just that female up in, northern Alberta, Canada, and that Sasquatch was filmed in California. I already knew the Patterson film was real. I spoke with Bob Gimlin. And so anyways, let's answer some questions. This is going so well. Let's just have some fun, right? I can't believe this stream is working so good. Holy crap. My streams are going to be awesome from now on, guys. I'm so excited because it sucked before, didn't it? The damn thing was always, I think a lot of people just kind of were giving up because they were sick of the glitches. So Sammy Chicken, no glitches because it's working perfect. Kyla Cox, I just like saying that name so much. Just wait till you win the court case, Screwjoe. And Kyla, the court case is coming. People think, just like before. I remember when I had video 2 and 3, and they're like, well, this is a 2-trick pony, right? Not a 1-trick pony, 2-trick pony. Then I got video 4. Oh, you got video 4. Oh, he's a 3-trick pony. Video 5, video 6, video 7, video 8, video 9, video 10. Nobody's seen that yet? Oh, yes. Video 9 and video 10. Yes, there are. So don't get too excited about the footage. I'm not extremely pleased with it, but I'm doing the best I can, guys. Honest to God, I fight, I bleed. Oh my God, what I have to do for this. I'm going to get that footage. I'm going to get that evidence. If I don't, somebody else will. Who cares if it's me or if it's somebody else? If it's somebody, David Kreider, or Mark, or all these different awesome guys, Utah, Colorado, California, Washington State. I don't get it. Let's prove it. It's exciting. So it doesn't have to come from me. Man, it just, when it happens. But what would be nice though, if somebody could get, there's a piece of footage that'll convince the world. There's a piece of footage. So trust me, I don't want to talk about it too much, but there's a piece of footage. Somebody can get that footage. Somebody can make something happen that's going to convince the world that Sasquatch are real. There can be a piece of footage that's significantly better than the Patterson Gimlin footage from 1967. Somebody can get better than that. And I don't care if it's Joe Rogan that gets it. I just want it got. I want it proved. And so we all fight for that. Thank you so much for everybody's support. And what's some good questions here? Timothy McCoon. Todd, I've been trying to watch a show podcast for over a year. Never got to. Always break it up. So, yeah, I'm excited too. This technology is not easy, guys. You have to download. You can't just click live. You can click live on your phone. You can't just click live on YouTube. You have to go download third-party software, and I couldn't find somewhere to pay for it because nothing is free. Holy crap! This has nothing to do with Sasquatch. If you download software on your computer and you think it's free, it is not free. There's a cost, and I actually had to download free software, and this is the computer I'm using to edit my movie. How irresponsible is that? Now I got some kind of tracking software on my freaking computer, and I'm putting on here now the world knows I'm putting there's Sasquatch footage on this freaking computer. I don't even know if I have it backed up. I have it backed up somewhere. If this computer got lost, it would take me probably 2 weeks just to find my backup footage. But anyways, it's a tight budget. Hey, it's OBS. That's right, Dan. It is OBS. So that was like my third choice. I tried the first software. It didn't function. I was very upset about that. And now this is my second choice, and it worked. So Pamela Toulette, your footage will convince people. It seems like they don't want to know the truth. You know what, Pamela? It's hard. It's hard for people to understand that Sasquatch exists. A lot of people are saying Joe Rogan made some good points. He's talking the same crap I've been talking about for years. He didn't make any good points. Well, how come there's not lots of them? There is lots of them. You know what? I'll tell you guys a secret. There's a freaking lot of Sasquatch out there. Like, people ask how I found my main research site that I'm working at now. I did some stuff online. I looked at some cool places, and I walked out in the bush, and I went way remote, way backcountry, and I was like, okay, I'm going to look here. And I spent, a couple weeks, saw some tree breaks, and then boom, there was Sasquatch there. You just got to open your eyes. There's, Carla's asking, oh my God, Todd, back that up. Anyways, I just think there's so many of them, so many of them. I think, and how do you report a most people will see a Sasquatch and never report it. I don't know. I think it's way more prevalent than we know. Being the guy that people are contacting and talking to, so many freaking people I talk to, so many awesome people, like judges, doctors, lawyers, PhDs of all kinds. It's there's so many of them, and they've seen Sasquatch, so many incredible encounters and stuff, and people don't want to talk about it. So Chris McConville, I'm so bad at pronouncing names. Todd, man, keep up your hard work. If the footage is good or bad, doesn't matter. It's still real authentic footage and better than anything else is showing. Thanks. Yeah, well, it's not better. Don't call my stuff better. It's just different. I don't like to be in competition with people. I don't really compete. I'd like to think that my footage is for us. It's for us. It's for human beings. It's for all of us, And I think it's exciting that a human being is out there doing this. That's why it doesn't matter who gets it. Well, I actually, maybe it does matter a little bit. I don't want some hater to shoot them or something, right? So that'd be horrible. Oof. Wouldn't that be terrible if somebody shot one? I hear about stories of Sasquatch being killed and stuff, but I don't know. So it just blows my mind shooting one, and then not only do you kill one, but then they get mad, and then they'll start hurting people. And the 411 stuff, guys, gotta watch that 411 stuff. Is that's heavy duty stuff. That's why Survivor Man got involved in it. I was personally have knowledge of one of the 411 cases. It's real, and people, are Sasquatch killing people in national parks? No, not generally. I mean, it's not a war, but Sasquatch are hunters. Sasquatch are hunters. They hunt. There's no way they survive. They're not vegetarians. The scat that I've seen shows otherwise. I've never found Sasquatch scat that had any signs of meat in it. So, I sound like a hypocrite, but I just can't not see them not eating meat. And anyways, and a hunter will kill you, you know? Hunters, I remember one time, boy, this was profound. It was a native man who hunts elk and deer. He's an excellent top hunter. Amazing guy. And he hated that I was doing Sasquatch stuff. He was mad at me. He hated me. He hated that I was learning how to track. He hates white people. Just hates them. Lives on a reserve. And I remember he told me one day, he says, I kill bears. I kill elk. I'll kill them. Like, I put an arrow through them. They die. I cut their throat. I bleed them out. I went, yeah? He goes, I love them. I love elk. I love the bears. I love the animals, the forest. And he goes, I swear word hate you. I hate white people. He goes, you know the pleasure I would take in killing you? And I'm a hunter, and I kill. And I love the elk. I hate you. What do you think I would do to you? So, just an angry guy. Like, he'd put an arrow in me, kill me, not even think about it. So, what I learned, though, is that hunters really do. Like, man, they kill. They'll... when you learn to kill, you're a killer. Maybe not so much with fish, but when you're killing, deer and elk, they're mammals. They bleed, there's blood. Like, gosh, the anatomy. You string up a bear, man, he's got legs and lungs and heart and everything's so similar. I mean, we're mammals, right? So, I don't know. Anyways, I just saw that, and so Sasquatch are killers. Sasquatch probably love the elk a lot more than they like people. People ripping up their lands, people driving around insane, looking at their cell phones and driving in their cars, and so anyways, so you tick off a Sasquatch, or you get an angry Sasquatch, or a Sasquatch just likes to kill. Do we have human beings that just like to kill? Well, absolutely. And I'm not talking serial killers, I'm just talking hunters. Hunters like to kill things. They want to kill, they want to shoot things, and they're allowed to. It's legal. Serial killers kill people. Do we have serial killers? Do we have murderers? Well, absolutely. People that love to kill, for sure. You think there's not going to be a bad Sasquatch out there? Don't be ridiculous. Of course there's going to be. So you think there's not going to be a Sasquatch out there? If somebody killed my son, there'd be war. I would lose my mind. I would do bad things, very bad things, if somebody harmed somebody I love in my family, right? Wouldn't a Sasquatch do the same? And I guarantee you, Sasquatch, man, they're baptized in the fire. Are you kidding me? These guys, they're beasts. They'll growl at you to go. Brrr. That's how they say hi, like gorillas. These guys, they'll fight and wrestle amongst themselves. It'd be brutal. Like, they'll probably tackle an elk and break its neck, and they love elk. Like, these guys are built in violence. They have to have that love of violence. Like, gosh, people will see a grizzly bear kill a moose slowly and rip it apart because he loves it. He loves killing it. Killing keeps him alive. Gosh, you've seen it on Discovery Channel. Lions eating a freaking zebra while it's still alive. They love it. They love it. So, you might be pretty civilized, and you might think you're pretty far removed from nature, but you go out hiking in nature, man. And anyways, somebody's got some serious issues. I can't blame him. If anyone has been something, it's an American. Anyways, if there's an angry guy, just ignore him. I'm sorry, I don't have my mediators on because it's so late. Aren't we having fun? This is kind of fun. So, let me look at some of these questions here, you guys. You guys always make it so fun. So, asking me, I saw somebody say about hair. Do they shed? Absolutely not any different than we shed. Sasquatch don't have fur. They have hair. Just like gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, human beings, and Sasquatch, we all have hair. So if you think we shed, however we shed is what Sasquatch do. But it's not shedding, really. Right? We just lose hairs and they replace. But literal shedding is an absolute no. So, Todd, have you ever spotted a pregnant Sasquatch or a mother with a baby one? No. Never seen a pregnant Sasquatch. I didn't even really have much to do with females, to be honest. I'm very convinced. Oh, I didn't bring water. I'm very convinced that Video 4 is a female. So she's got the smoother face. She doesn't seem to have the beard. And I'm just convinced of that because my teacher told me that. My native teacher, who was an incredible, amazing, unreal, spectacular wilderness expert. Like, I don't think I'll ever meet somebody like that. Like a guy who would say, I'll see you in a few years. And you go in the wilderness and you survive for 4 years and you come back 4 years later. Oh, that was pretty good time out there. You've been gone for 4 years. That's not that's not something you can do. I mean, he'd leave with an axe and a knife, and he'd come back in 4 years, just fine. So you could see that his face was hard, like he'd been through a hard life. Like winters are hard. It's hard, but anyway, so true. Your footage is the best I've seen, and I've scoured a lot. Well, thanks. I'm my footage. I'm so proud of it, dude. Oh my god, I'm so proud of my footage. I know what I had to go through for that footage. And anyways, Todd, I recently watched Missing 411 based on the book by David Pilates. What are the chances, do you think, that it's a Bigfoot taking these people? If you've not seen it, I recommend you do. Yeah, well, Survivor Man was involved in one of those, right? So I know about that. And I like the way they just they don't say Bigfoot too much. I think that's pretty cool. But, yeah. So you can't blame it all on Bigfoot. People go missing and it sucks. And yeah, the wilderness is dangerous, guys. It's dangerous, So I don't know. And who's to say, if you can assume Bigfoot's real, what if there's a giant condor that comes down and snatches a child or something? But I don't know. Anyways, some pretty incredible things. Animals are pretty incredible. They're capable of some pretty incredible stuff. One of the missing 411 cases where they found the child's clothes up on a ridge, and the way the clothes had been taken off, and then they found a piece of the skull. Ugh, that does not look like that's not bear, that's not mountain lion, it's not wolves. So the only thing you can really say is either some guy did it or it was a Sasquatch. So, and that's something that you got to consider too. What if it's some crazy guy out there, right? So if you didn't find Sasquatch DNA, you don't find Sasquatch tracks. What's to say there's not what's to say there's not a native man out in the wilderness that's like my teacher? What was I just talking about a few minutes ago, right? Some crazy native guy who's killing people. So anyways, let's answer some more questions because you guys are awesome. Oh my god, there we go. Do you think their hair always tests as human hair because we share their DNA? Well, from what I've seen anyways. Well, the geneticists are such a bunch of freaking cowards. Man, they're cowards. I talked to Todd Disotell. He bailed out on me, and that would have been awesome if I could have had him test some hairs, because he does there's a big difference between like the DNA test that I had done at a company called Paleo DNA. They test six strains or something. It was 3 versus human and 3 versus chimpanzee. And I asked him to do the and that's what really made my results come back as so impressive. But because the human test just tested as humans, we're talking about with the DNA test, it needs to be a full genome, or it has to have African primate comparative analysis. That means gorilla or chimpanzee, preferably chimpanzee, because the Sasquatch are hominids, right? Like if you tested, there's the Hobbit hominid, Homo floresiensis. That's the Hobbit person. They're real. They existed. I don't know. Was it 10,000 years ago? It's not very long ago that they existed. And if you tested their DNA, they would come back as human, but they're not. They're definitely not human. They're a Homo sapien, or like Neanderthal. So my brain's not working good. I'm exhausted. So, but anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Like a Neanderthal is not a Homo sapien. A Neanderthal would match us, right? So you need a full genome, because I think it's clear to me the Sasquatch are that close. And the definition of a species, guys, is when you can breed, when two individuals can breed and produce viable offspring that can breed, like a horse and a donkey. They make mules. They're separate species, because a mule can't breed. There is no species of mule. So obviously horses and donkeys are separate species, right? Cats and dogs are separate species. They can't breed and produce a viable offspring. Can a Sasquatch and a human being breed and produce viable offspring? I don't want to talk about it, because I according to the DNA that I've seen, I already know the answer to it. But it's a yucky topic. People get offended by it, and I've always disliked talking about it. But it seems the answer to that is yes. So, are we going to test as human in a shallow genome test? Sure, they're going to test as human. So yeah. Anyways, here's a elderworm. Todd, what are your thoughts on the Sasquatch and orbs? Have you seen Sasquatch with orb lights? I believe they are flesh and blood, but have you heard stories about orbs and Mindspeak? Thanks. Well, Mindspeak, I did a whole video on it. A really nice video. It wasn't very long ago. I don't remember what I called the video. I think it was called The Miracle of Sasquatch, because it's a freaking miracle. The mind speak video that I did, and I really love that video because it talks about people who do mind speaking. So mind speaking is just is absolutely real. I'm not going to pull any bones about. I don't know anything about orbs though. I have never seen anything to do with orbs. I've taken out expeditioners who are like, oh, look at the orbs. I didn't see any orbs. I was just one expeditioner. I had a lot of talk about orbs and stuff, and yeah, I've seen lights up in the sky that were unexplainable, but I don't do aliens, guys. You know, if you want to get into the alien stuff, where's Sophia Soros? That's my Amanda girl. Amanda has no idea that I'm on right now, and this live stream has been killer. It looks like we worked it out. So I got the software. This software was a bitch to use. It sucked. Absolutely sucked putting it together. I'm decently confident I can put it all back together. It's so late. That's why it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning where I am right now. So anyways, I just wanted to test this software. I'll answer some more questions. Todd, do they rub their backs on trees to relieve itches like bears do? You think they would be afraid of leaving? I don't think they'd be afraid of leaving evidence. And I bet you they do. But dude, like Timothy, the Sasquatch, like a bear and wolves, especially bears and wolves, love trails. They love the trails. They don't like going through the bush. So, you know, all the time I rarely see bears in the bush like Sasquatch. Sasquatch do not like trails. Sasquatch will walk out on a trail and feel naked. They're more, I think mountain lions are more like that. Mountain lions don't really do trails so much. I'm not a mountain lion expert. I'm just thinking of my own. I think mountain lions like the bush. They like to stay out of the tree. See, like deer and elk, they like the open areas for the grass. But anyways, the Sasquatch just can't stand those. So Sasquatch would be rubbing their backs on trees that are like way deep in the bush. You'd never know to look there. I mean, this is a needle in 50 haystacks, right? Kind of stuff. So, yeah. Wasn't calling anacardic commented LOL. Meant Florensis finding. Okay, Timothy Mew, do they rub their backs? Hi Todd, morning from England. What are we, everywhere? This is amazing. You guys are amazing. I got Australia, England, Sweden, all over the US. What else did I say? I didn't see Japan. No China either. I guess they don't do YouTube in China. Sean of the 80s. Thoughts on Sasquatch Ontario's audio of him talking with a Sasquatch named Napidi? Well, if that's what I do know, I'm not pointing any fingers. I don't know any for sure, but there was an Ontario Sasquatch guy that was pretty famous, and John Benernigel went out and met with him, and John came back and showed me the tracks, and those were fake, totally fake, 100%. I don't. Okay, I shouldn't say 100%. 99% chance those tracks are fake. They were clearly some pathetic wood cast tracks. So somebody in Ontario that was famous for something Sasquatch, and I don't know what it was, went out and took John Benernigel out and faked and hoaxed him. And I showed John. I was like, John, even John knows I'm a tracker. John's seen what I can do. I had my metal tested by John. So he knows I can track. He knows I'm a wilderness guy. And yeah, I was very disappointed somebody took him out. And the tracks were in snow. They were so fake. They were just so freak. They just looked like plastic cookie cutter, fake as fake can be. I'm surprised John didn't notice it. When I showed John even all the things that were going on, those tracks were so fake. You know, the guy wasn't even walking right. Sasquatch don't walk like that. You know, there was nothing organic about them. Like Sasquatch walk with feet, and they're bendy and pliable, and there's cool stuff going on. There's flexation and movement and stuff. These nothing. So one Ontario Sasquatch guy faked John, and John was pretty upset about it after. He didn't go back there. So I don't have any trouble eviscerating relationships between people that are. Somebody was deceiving John. So yeah, D-Worm, have you seen the North American Wood Ape Conservatory's videos from Area X, Oklahoma? No, I have not. If so, what do you think? Sorry, I don't know what that is. And did you see where they tried self-attracting track? Yeah, I didn't see any of that stuff. I don't really I'm so busy with all this stuff. I talk to people. I have my own thing going on. So freaking busy. It's hard and it's frustrating because I want to do more, but I'm just one person. That's why I need help, guys. Bigfootencounter@gmail.com. If you want to help out, if you got stuff going on, what's your opinion, D-Worm? I'd like to hear what you have. Sean of the 80s, Sasquatch, Ontario was found to be a fraud. Was Guy's old friend making noise? Oh, yeah. See, if the Sasquatch, Ontario, somebody talked about. Boy, that didn't sound authentic to me. I hate to say it, but my heart told me it was it sounded kind of Japanese. It just sounded like a guy. And we can't, it's not good evidence if the only way human beings can make some really impressive different sounds. Remember that guy that was a show called Police Academy? This guy would do like boom, chicka, boom. He'd make all these. He was incredible. That was a real guy doing those real sounds. That black guy from Police Academy that was kind of slim. Anyway, people can make sounds like crazy. What gets me and what convinces me that it's a Sasquatch is convinced me about, for example, when Survivor Man had a Sasquatch call back to him. First of all, I don't think any human being, it would be, no, let me rephrase. It'd be a hell of a thing to have a human being, very few human beings in the world could duplicate the sound that Survivor Man made right back to him. You know what I mean? Like, whoo-woo! The call that Les made was very original. He just invented it there. It was very spur of the moment. But that is not enough, though. You could ask me, can a human being do that? I go, yes, a human being can do that. Ask me the next question. Can a human being make that level of, can be that loud? No. Human being can't be that loud. So, and I think a megaphone would crackle. I mean, let's consider all the options, right? So there's a guy out there, he's got a megaphone, he's out in the middle of nowhere. And the hella middle of nowhere, like, you guys have to understand, like, this was the middle of nowhere, nothing. When I take people out on my expeditions, we drive for hours, and you're in the middle of hell. You're driving down a crappy dirt road in the middle of nowhere, and all there is for 1,000 miles is little itty bitty towns, and the towns get smaller. There's a little town called Hinton over here. People think, oh, I'm from Hinton. Oh, there's Edson, and then you get these Nordegg. Nordegg is like this little spot of, I don't know, 2,000 people. I know Hinton and Edson, this is the general area. They have, 20, 30,000 people. Let's say, oh, they're huge. No, they're surrounded by wilderness and north and south and east and wilderness everywhere. Like if you live in Hinton or Edson or you go to Jasper National Park, this is all in the same vicinity. But Jasper National Park is just a little tiny, what is there? Is there 10,000 people there? I don't know. Don't quote me. But, it's this little area and it's just surrounded by an ocean of wilderness, an ocean of it. It's huge. So anyways, this is where you heard the Sasquatch call back to him. It's just that as a skeptic, there was a small Survivor Man on camera has to tell the audience, and he did. How the hell could Todd get a guy out there just at that time, make my exact calls? Like, it's really extremely, it's just not possible. I was there as Sasquatch. Have a good day. I don't make any bones about it. It was a Sasquatch. Have a good day. So, and I was just like floating, so happy that the Sasquatch called back to him. It's so rare that they do that, for me anyways. But anyways. So Sean, Sammy Chicken, Sasquatch, Ontario. Okay, so Sean, have you heard the 911 audio call of the man who was generally freaked out by saying he was seeing a man? Yeah, I heard that. No, Sean of the 80s. I know the one you're talking about. It's that 911 call. Hey, get somebody out here. Man, that sounds authentic. He's huge. Yeah. And this is my opinion. I'm allowed to have opinions. This is my opinion. Man, that sounded authentic. That man did not sound like an actor. Like, I'll tell you. So Claudia Ackley filmed a Sasquatch, and the video is very blurry and it's not conclusive. But what convinced me more than anything, more than Claudia, way more than the footage, even to see that when I was there in California where she filmed it, to get a guy up on that tree, the tree was hard. It would have been a hell of a hard thing to do. It would have been a bitch, but a human being could do it. You know what convinced me? Her daughter. I talked to her daughter. Daughter started crying. Daughter told me This is authentic. This is what made it amazing. Is Claudia in the footage is like walking towards the Sasquatch and trying to film it, and the mom's like, "Mom," the little girl's like, "Mom, please, oh God." So I talked to the little girl and I asked her about it. She goes, there's a couple things that scared me, but the first thing, and she started crying. She says, I told my mom I was scared and I wanted to go. My mom wouldn't leave, and she started to cry. This is not Meryl Streep, ladies and gentlemen. This is a little girl, and she broke down and told Todd Standing, and I was so flattered that she learned to trust me just in the short time I was there, to break down and tell for the first time right in front of her mom, "Mom, you hurt my feelings, that you were more interested in filming the Sasquatch, and I wanted to leave." And she's crying. I knew it was real footage then. I knew it. She saw the Sasquatch. She wanted to leave. She said a couple other things that were absolutely, that's a Sasquatch. She was saying stuff. She saw two smaller ones. They were running. Everything she said about them was authentic. She was scared. Her pupils were dilating. She was sweating and crying. And then she broke out of it. She got happy and she got it off her chest. That's authenticity, ladies and gentlemen. That is authenticity. I was there. What an honor and a privilege to have been there for that authenticity. And I've seen it. So Shaun of the 80s, I really felt that authenticity in that 911 call. So there's Dustin Cooper, been in the timber quite a bit, haven't heard this or witnessed these sounds. I waited and whistled and spoke out, and whatever was in the woods, I don't know what was there, sounded like folks murmuring. Huh. And thanks for sharing. Yeah. So you really gotta, like when rocks are being thrown, or there's murmuring, or there's human legs. It could be human, right? It really could be. So it's our ability to differentiate between it being a human and a Sasquatch is what makes it great evidence. So, right? My dad hunted elk in Nordegg for 30 years. He never saw a Sasquatch at all. And I tell you, Dan, I've met the skeptics right out in north of Nordegg. That's where I do research, right? I remember one guy drove up to me. This was so awesome. I love this. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it one more time. So this guy drives up to me, and we're in the middle of nowhere. It's out in the bush. I'm on the end of a road at dead ends. He drives up. His son knows me. His son's a wildlife photographer, so he knows me. "Oh my God, Todd Standing!" And he comes out and he talks to me. And the dad's there going, "Sasquatch isn't real. This is crap. I've been out here for 40 years. I've been out here hunting in Nordegg, and I don't know." I go, "Oh, okay." So anyways, I go and show him a Sasquatch trackway, and he looks at it. And he goes, he pauses, and he talks to his son, and his son he goes, "We saw that this morning." I go, "What do you mean?" There's like a little bit of snow that was melting. He goes, "Well, about 60 miles up east, southeast over in that direction down this trail." I go, "Yeah, I know that trail." He goes, "Yeah, we saw this trackway of this guy crossing the roads with like sandals on and he must have been running really fast. He had this long stride length that was like in line." I was like, "You mean you saw a Sasquatch trackway?" He goes, No. Just some very big man with sandals that were feet like." The son pulls out his camera, shows me a picture. I go, "That's a Sasquatch." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Well, what man is running around in the wilderness?" Like the snow was about, I don't know, at that time, let's say the snow was 2 feet deep. The snow was compressed. Like I was like, look at me walking the snow. I'm 200 with my gear and stuff on, 260 pounds, maybe 270. And I can't compress a quarter of that. And look at the track. Like this is a big Sasquatch. This is like a 16, 17 inch track. How does somebody with 6 bigger feet than mine, and they're toe-shaped with heels, this is Sasquatch, walk in line, have a stride length like that, and with that much weight? So you're saying there was a guy with stilts that weighed about, I don't know, 700-800 pounds? He left there going, "Maybe I have been seeing a Sasquatch for 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? It's funny because the Sasquatch will try to communicate with people, and they won't get it, and I don't know. And I don't know. I just don't know. I've met so many people that are just awesome experts and amazing, hunter guides. Sasquatch isn't real. And, in my research area, there's a guide that goes out there and takes people, and he's an elk hunter, and he's absolutely adamant Sasquatch cannot exist. And I've been out in the bush, and I've yelled up to him, "Hey, you want to come see some tracks and a structure?" He won't do it. He's not interested. You're just faking this stuff. You're just cutting, whatever. So they really close their mind off to it. And, I've seen some of these guys, a lot of these guys, like the hunter that guides people out in my research area. I looked him in the eyes. He knows Sasquatch are real. He's been in denial. I remember showing him tracks once. He came upon me Well, I have to pop out. I'm like hiding somewhere, so I see him and I pop out. Or, anyways, so I pop out of the bush. Gee, what the hell you doing out here? It's crazy. It's freaking. Anyways, gives me shit, and I'm like, I'm doing my Bigfoot research. I go, there's a trackway right over here. You want to come look at it? And he's just got this look in his face, like he's seen it before, like he knows there's something going on. It's like looking at somebody that's in serious denial. Sorry, when I laugh, it shakes. But yeah, some of these guys are in total denial. So some are angry. You get those angry guys. There's a resort, or there's a not a resort, but yeah, I guess kind of a, anyways, a hotel with trails and stuff. That are all in this beautiful, beautiful area. Survivor Man stayed there. I won't name the name of the place, but the owners there, like, there's Sasquatch coming right. There's tree breaks, and Sasquatch are busting chains and smashing down trees and stuff. And they just think it's people, and they don't even, when Survivor Man came out there, a couple of the managers were like, hey, Survivor Man came out, we could have a Survivor Man cabin, we could use, and they're like, nope, we won't do it, because Survivor Man was out here for Bigfoot, and that's a crock. Bigfoot does not exist. There's no way Bigfoot exists. And there's there's people that built those cabins that know Sasquatch exists, old timers that have been out there that he just discounts it. So anyways, D Christian Cooper, yes, thank you, Todd. I definitely let myself be known, and I just couldn't understand how hearing someone 50 yards away in the middle of the woods, 5+ miles from main trails, they wouldn't communicate. Yeah, and maybe it was a Sasquatch. You got to go look for tracks, though. Tracks are huge, especially when you can understand the weight and the power of tracks. 5+ miles away from main trails, it's decent. 50 yards away, and what's also good evidence too, to me, is, okay, let's say you hear somebody they're 50 meters away. You hear them, they're there. Let's double that. Let's say 50 meters plus or minus 50 meters, so maybe 100 yards away. You immediately hear them, and you immediately move towards that sound, and Sasquatch will evade you like nothing. It's a joke. It would be difficult, not impossible, but difficult for me as a wilderness expert with my ghillie suit on and all the training I have. If I was 80 yards away from somebody who started to walk towards me, it'd be a little difficult to move away. But then again, what makes a Sasquatch great is that's their home, man. They know every rock, every nook, every bump. They were born and raised there. Their generations have lived there. So, and they're not going to approach you without an exit strategy, right? They're very strategic, brilliantly strategic. I've never seen them not be brilliantly strategic. So if they're going to make a sound, they have an exit strategy that's going to be amazing. Hey, there's Amanda. We were talking about you. Amanda, I'm just testing out the software. It's working amazing. So I just went on. I thought I'd take a few minutes to go test my software. And I'm 53 minutes into, what even day is it? Tuesday? I'm supposed to do I'm doing a show tomorrow still. So, anyways, let's see if I have some more questions, because I'm just having fun. I hadn't even thought about it until I heard a long 8 to 9 second loud guttural scream yell that brought tears to my eyes, and then hair on the back of my neck stood up. Out in my woods, that was the beginning. That sounds really cool. Hair standing on the back of your neck's pretty cool, right? So, yeah, you're sounding authentic to me. 8 or 9 seconds, guttural scream. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I'll tell you, congratulations. If a Sasquatch makes itself known to you, just congratulations. That's it. Try not to be scared. Try to endure. Remember, these guys are beasts. They wrestle each other. They beat each other up. There's, and Kyla says no glitches. Thank you, Kyla. So really understand, like gorillas, they can be gentle and nice, but I'll tell you, gorillas are beasts, man. They'll beat the crap out of each other. Like, a female gets out of line, a male will kick the crap and beat him, like hurt him. And Sasquatch are somewhere between human beings and gorillas as far as behavior goes, right? Just behavior. So I got beat up by by some Sasquatch once. I think I was being I guess, initiated into the troop, possibly. And boy, they were trying to be gentle with me, and oh my God, it was brutal. Man, they are so powerful. They are so strong. Like human beings, like I'm a strong, fit guy. Fit, especially at that time, oh my God, I was in good shape. Like abs and trained, and I work out, and you know, I'm always athletic, just and put together. Like human beings can be pretty tough, some not so much, but I'm trained and I'm backcountry and I can do this stuff. And man, they just whoop my ass like nothing. I've I played football and had friends that were like 6'9", 320 pounds. Let's be honest, steroid growth hormone monsters, right? Monsters. Nobody, nothing ever threw me around like that. Like that was just like, and I'm saying like my 330 pounds, 6'9", growth hormone steroided friend was a monster. He's tough beast, strong, like powerful, crazy powerful, you know, uh, and he would just be thrown around like a little rag doll with these guys. Like they are just like their hands and their hand strength. And I got new stuff to talk about this year, a new experience this year. So I don't want to get into that stuff too much. Todd, how many individuals can encompass a troop or clan? And that's such a tough question. You know, I'd say educated guess, but I just can't even, because I had so little experience with the females and the young, right? So little experience. So, you know, uh, actually, I could say minimum numbers. I think there was a group of Sasquatch around the Morley Indian Reserve, just outside of Calgary, that I was studying for a couple years. And I think there was only I think there was only 4 individuals in that group. So, and there was good reason for it. The habitat was being cut off and encroached upon and damaged. And let's talk about that. It's something I've never talked about before. See, you guys have such good questions. What happened was, so they call me when the Sasquatch come around, and there was a younger Sasquatch, I'd say about a 11-inch track, and he was coming up to the house that these native people lived at, just on the edge of the reserve, and banging on the glass and stuff. When the girls in the house would go into their cycles at a certain time of month, the Sasquatch would come banging around. So, and what happened was, the mom didn't like it when he did that. So I see out in the tracks, I see this 11-inch track, and I see the mom. She's got about a 15-inch track. I assume it's the mom. It had that slimmer footprint with the less weight to it, and I think the male was wider with a little more weight. See, males are a little thicker. Anyways, I was getting it back then. So what she did was, though, you could see her chase him and tackle him in the snow. There's like a tackle point. And then she would pick him up and walk with him, and I follow it for like, a mile or two. This was one of those days where I was following this trackway to the end of the earth, thinking I'm going to catch up with these two. There's no chance of that. But anyways, she'd put him down, and then he'd walk for a while, and then he'd run off, and you'd see her chase him and tackle him again. He's not listening. You know why he wasn't listening? The male died. If Daddy would have been around, he'd have whooped some ass. That little guy kept coming around. You know who eventually came and helped? I think it was Big Brother. 15-inch track came around. Then you could see these 2 15-inch tracks. Well, mother, thinner track, but a 15-inch male. I think son came and said, little brother, you're going to listen to mom. And that was when the trackway kept going. But eventually it ran out. How did it run out? Because the Sasquatch went into an open field where the wind was blowing, like over by Morley in certain sections around the mountains and the hills. There's gusty wind areas, and they just went through that section, probably did some rock climbing, and I just lost their trackway. And believe me, you think... you can track. Believe me, I can track. I can track. I was a tracker. I am a tracker. And they lost me. They have no trouble losing me. I don't know. They're so freaking smart. I'm an excellent tracker, and they're like light years ahead of me. So let's be honest, though. There are levels, right? There are levels. So they're the best in the world. They're incredible and amazing. And so anyways, but the whole point of the story was, I think there were very few individuals in that group because they couldn't handle that young guy, and they hadn't seen Dad. Nobody had reported seeing a large Sasquatch 3 years before I got there, and I never saw a single sign of a large Sasquatch the whole time I was out there. And I upset this troop. I ticked them off. I cornered the female once, and that's the whole, when she screamed, and I covered my ears when I was trying to film her. Anyways, after that day, it was still all the Sasquatch. Anyways, long story short, I upset the Sasquatch, and then I got kicked off the reserve because the Sasquatch were like smashing down barns. They killed a horse. They smashed down barns. They were busting down the back of houses and stuff. But all these damaging things were done by the smaller Sasquatch. The big male never came around, and I don't think there's a big male there. And, even why isn't another male taking over the troop, right? So loss of habitat, loss of life, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know how well they're doing. Brussels, nice, that's Belgium. We should have a little map putting all the things. Australia, Italy, England, Belgium, Sweden. I know we're all over Ohio. Holy cow, guys, I'm getting freaking exhausted here. So we're an hour into it. Thank you so much for the questions. I hope it's been a good show. I could probably do this every day. But anyways, this is just testing the software. It went really well. I had no intention. So I got to go check some more stuff with the program and everything. But thanks all for tuning in so much, guys. It's been a fun show today. I'm going to leave the show up because you guys, thanks, Carlos. So, and don't trust me about my tracking skills. People talk, I've been out boots on the ground, I don't know. People that know, but been out with me, they know. Well, I mean, Survivor Man said in one of the episodes, don't try to do the things that I was doing unless you have a high degree of backcountry wilderness experience. For God's sake, don't be getting crazy going backcountry unless you have a lot of practice. You really got to know what you're doing. It's so freaking dangerous. Take a freaking tracking device with you, for God's sake, and be safe. Wow. So I'd be horrified if I heard somebody learned or was inspired by me to go backcountry and then got harmed or hurt. It's so dangerous, man. It'd be so scary, so scary to get lost, and man, devastating. So I thought I was lost once for like 3 or 4 hours. I started losing a little bit of faith in my directional skills. And anyways, what I got to say is, even knowing that I could track my way back, I could backtrack myself, and I just have to spend a night or two out in the wilderness because I made a mistake. Eventually I found that I didn't make a mistake. I was right on track. I knew exactly where I was. Well, I didn't know exactly. I lost a little faith. And in those 4 hours, I remember the fear that takes over when you realize, oh my God, like it's cloudy, there's no sun out, but the sun will come out tomorrow, right? Isn't there a song about that? I don't know. But, and I don't really panic, but I was feeling fear. Like I was like, oh my God, the devastation. I was with an expeditioner too. And it was partly the expeditioner's fault because the dude was tough as nails. He's like, let's go kick some ass, Sasquatch, you're that way, let's go. So we just went. And no compass, there's no cell phones that worked out, no devices of any kind. Just go, have a good day, walk. And you can get turned around, man. You get little creeks and rivers and stuff and mountains that you go over and you get turned around. But anyways, just my point is, I don't know if you've ever been lost out in the wilderness, but man, whew, terrifying, scary. And why I'm saying this is because I was scared. I have a high degree of wilderness. I would have got out of there eventually. I would have pissed off the expeditioner. I would look like a total douche, right? Here's the expert survivor, and he never thought I was lost. He always had faith in me. And but anyways, yeah, don't do that. My God, terrifying. So take really good care of yourself. You're very valuable. Your life is very valuable. I watched Discovering Bigfoot again the other day, and after a year of research, found the film to be amazing. Thanks, Carlos. Carlos, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, 72. So, yes, I can see your comment at Trip. Did you have a comment before? Any thoughts on Bigfoot's Odyssey expedition to Florida? No, I didn't see that one. I don't know, maybe I should watch more stuff like that. So, I watched the Boggy Creek thing when I was little. I thought that was really cool. But, and there's Bigfoot movies. Sam something that I really like. I forgot his name. He's that guy with the big mustache. He was in Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. Anyways, he did a movie called I Killed Hitler, then I Killed Bigfoot. Oh my goodness, how funny is that? So, okay guys, so we're going to call it a perfect feed tonight. So, Amanda, you'll be very happy. I know Amanda's been grinding her teeth going, you got to fix that. What the hell? I've been trying so hard. But anyways, we got it all fixed up. So, Todd, is that when you hurt your leg and they treated the wound? Nope. That was a different time. when I hurt my leg. I hurt my leg this year again, but my knee hurt. So had a bad fall, and oh my god, my knee's hurting. Scary because I actually damaged my knee this year, and I really damaged part of my quad. The teardrop muscle is really badly damaged, and I'm thinking, oh my god, what if I can't do expeditions anymore? What if I can't hike anymore? Because I want to be like John Benernagel was like in his 70s hiking around with me. So freaking tough. Even Jeff. Jeff was a little overweight. He could have lost a couple pounds, but he did great. He's tough as nails. My point isn't that he was a little. He could have lost a few pounds. Like he wasn't lean, but the guy's tough as nails. He hiked everywhere with me. I never had a problem. And on my expeditions, it's not a race. I'm happy to go slow. I can't track fast. Like I can't walk at a fast pace and be aware of the animals around me, be aware of the sounds, the smells, and track. It's too much information. So what happens when I'm moving quickly is I tend to just go into that safety mode, making sure nobody's going to get harmed, watching for the animals, watching for places where the animals, mountain lions and bears, could be some kind of danger, and just other safety things that I'm just aware of, trees and avalanches and stuff like that. So I have to slow down because my brain doesn't work that fast to watch the ground, track, keep your head up. Like you can't watch the ground too much because bears will walk right up on you, right? And yeah, I suppose I'm listening intently at all times, but it's just got to be more than that. You got to be vigilant. Mountain lions are so freaking quiet. They're just like deadly silent when they move. And, so you got to watch behind you and stuff. So much. I teach people in 7 days out with me. Gosh, the Army Ranger that I took out is just amazing. Super awesome guy. He had an iPhone he was taking notes on, taking pictures of the tracking stuff. And it was wonderful. Lots of people get amazing educations coming out there, learning about the berries and the animals and the terrain and the stuff that you can. Oh my God, so much. I talk all day about. I just love the wilderness. I'm getting my guide license soon, and I want to take people just out on guides and stuff because, yeah. So according to Sasquatch, there are 6,000 of them in the UK. In the UK, whew, that would be, wow, yeah, very interesting statement. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Let's see if I can turn this off. How do I stop this? I don't know how to stop it. Here's the button. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. So, or no, I'll be back Wednesday. It's Monday. Anyways, I'll be back in, I don't know, 48 hours or so. So stay tuned for then. As you guys can see, I could talk wilderness and Sasquatch for a long time. And I'll have a good morning, night, and we'll see you when it's Wednesday at 7 o'clock. You guys probably know this, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific. Okay? Take care. We'll see you then. And no more glitches. Let's hope. Keep your fingers crossed. No more glitches.